Hi, I'm Dawn and this is where Shabby meets Bling. Today we are doing a Last Thing Thrifted Christmas edition. That means I'll be taking an item from my very last thrifting trip and flipping it into something appropriate for Christmas. I would like to thank the 4 fabulously talented ladies joining me on this edition of Last Thing Thrifted. Annie from Crafting with Indiana Jones, Tammie from The Rusted Willow, Shelly from Repurposed My Way, and Monica from Up All Night DIY. The links to their channels and this fabulously fun 5-video playlist will be in the description box below. So on my last thrifting trip, this little sad item was one of the items I picked up. This little jewelry case. It's wood, or is it? Dun dun dun. Turns out this thing is MDF, and it really fooled me. I just thought the back panel was MDF, but this is what I'm going to be disassembling and recreating into a pie safe. A teeny tiny little itty bitty pie safe, which will hold some fabulous mini gingerbread pies for Chili's Gingerbread Bakery and Cafe. This homely little booger is, I shouldn't say that, excuse me. This little jewelry box is too tall. She's too tall, so we have to cut her shoes off. We have to give her ballet slippers. We have to give her flats. So I am just haphazardly cutting off the bottom part, which I will reuse. I reuse everything. We know that. If you've watched this channel ever, you know that I very rarely throw anything away. Reuse everything. So I am just cutting this down, and then I will be using this scrap piece of wood to create a base for a little pie safe. I will only go around the front and the sides. The back is not necessary. You might have noticed that there were no shelves in this little jewelry cabinet. You don't really need shelves, I guess, in a jewelry cabinet, but you do in a pie safe. So I am going to take the tiny little drawers and disassemble them and turn them into shelves. Our drawers came apart pretty easily, I guess within reason. And once the drawer front was off, they kind of just, boom, they came apart. So what I am doing here is I'm using the sides of my drawers / now shelves. I made a template, and I am going to take these out to my scroll saw and cut them. So hopefully once I've done that, it will give the illusion that these are little brackets. We have them cut, all 4 of them, and now I need to wood glue them and set them aside. But I think they turned out pretty good. I think those look like brackets holding up a shelf. Hopefully all of Chili's patrons think so as well. You might remember this cabinet from a few projects ago. Well, of course, when I disassembled, I saved that beautiful, beautiful metal piece. Well, that's gonna come in handy for our pie safe, because the doors in a pie safe usually have tin or they have a metal screen. And our little pie safe is going to have a beautiful metal screen for each of its doors. I've also decided to not use the little knobs on the doors. I am going to replace them with these cute little nuggets that I found at the Dollar Tree. They are little wood tree cutouts, and aren't they cute? Dimensional and amazing. And I am going to paint them to look like wrought iron. Speaking of painting, it is time to paint our pie safe. And I am going to paint the exterior with this beautiful chalk sage. Now, if you remember the cabinet I did in the first Chili video, that cabinet was a beautiful red, a deep red, and I will be using that same red on the interior of this cabinet because I want them to coordinate. Chili's Cafe is a very high-end establishment, and everything must coordinate. Our doors will also be this beautiful sage green. This chalk paint, by the way, is a Waverly product. The red I will be using is also Waverly. I love their chalk paint. It is very, very nice. It's good stuff. Let's paint the interior. It will be a red chalk paint, and this is crimson. Once again, this is the same paint I used on the cabinet for Chili's Cafe. I love this color. It's really pretty. If you've used it, you know that it's a deeper color than what is portrayed here. This looks more of like a reddish pink, but it truly is a deep, beautiful crimson color. Here are our shelves, all painted that beautiful crimson red as well, but I felt they were a little lacking. I think they needed a little something, something. So I created a little template, and I am going to be doing a little hand painting on the bottom of each of the little shelves. I am going to create a little garland. It is going to look like evergreen. That is the plan, man. So we will see what happens. I'm going to be using 2 different colors of chalk paint and a plaid paint as well to make this happen. Let's bake some pies with gingerbread crust. We have this beautiful pie safe, so now we need some pies to go in it, right? That makes sense. And I needed some tiny little pie pans. You can't find tiny pie pans, but you can, I guess, because I went to the Dollar Tree and I found these little candle holders with the stars. And to me, the bottom of them looked just like pie pans. So I disassembled them all. I bought 8 of them. And I cut the star off. And we're going to make some pies. Well, the obvious place to start if we're making pies is with the crust. So I am going to fill all my tiny little pie pans with some foam crust. This is a foam sheet that I picked up at the Hobby of the Lobby, and I've used these things for quite a few different projects. I love these foam sheets, and I am just tracing a spool of ribbon that I got at the old Dollar Tree, which is a little bit bigger than my pie pans, and I'm going to cut out 8 of them. Then we're going to put them in our pan. I am flipping the little pie pan over and centering it, and then giving just a real light push so I can see the indentation. So once my hot glue is in, I don't have to struggle with finding that center again before my hot glue dries. You flip it over, you push it into place, and you push it nice and tight until your hot glue dries. Now we're creating the little fluted pie crust edge. If you put some hot glue right into that corner edge of your pan and press your foam into it with your fingers and kind of create a little bit of a fluted action, you just kind of pinch it almost like real crust and you go all the way around the rim of your pan until your crust is complete. Our crust is a little tight, shall we say, for our pie pan. We want it to kind of fold over a little bit. So I am stretching it. I am pulling it with my fingers, just stretching the crust out, and you can see how it is giving to some degree. If you pull too hard, you can rip this, but it is pretty darn durable. So you just go all the way around your pie crust, giving it a little bit of a pull, and it just looks more like a pie crust. I will be making 3 kinds of pies. First up, cranberry pie. I am using those little foam ball fillers. You can get them at any craft store. These did come from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to fill my little pie crust with the cranberries. And then I'm going to use a filling, shall we say. This is something I created
for another project. Actually, next week's video. This is a mixture of food coloring and Mod Podge, gloss Mod Podge. And it is a red, and I am filling my little pie tin up, and then I am going to stir up the little cranberries. Once my cranberries are dry, completely dry, I'm going to go back over them with a chalk paint mixed with a matte Mod Podge to give it more of a real cranberry look. These are too sparkly, for sure. And now, caramel apple pie. I am cutting up some of that foam, and this is like a really light tan, kind of the color of an apple. How convenient. I am taking this foam. I cut actually 2 strips, and I use 2 strips per apple pie. And I am cutting the little foam into tiny little itty bitty apple slices. My filling for my apple pie is a gloss Mod Podge and white, yes, white food coloring, and cinnamon. Real live, smelly good cinnamon. And I'm just stirring it up really well. And then I am just gonna add it to my apple pie. My apples look so cute. I mean, they really look like little tiny apples. And then I use a toothpick and I stir up the little mixture. And just be careful not to get any on the crust. Pie 3 is the pumpkin pie. And I have cut 2 small little foam rounds and 2 larger foam rounds that will fit just perfectly into my pie crust. And I'm starting with the smaller ones because I don't want to waste all of my filling in this, because the filling is basically just paint. And I am putting my 2 small discs in first. Then I will come back and add my 2 larger discs and glue them in really well. And just be careful not to let any of your glue show. It's a little tough to get off of this foam, so just be careful. My pumpkin pie filling is the remainder of what I had from doing my orange pomanders in my last video. And waste not, want not, I still had it. It smells fabulous. I opened the container and it's like orange. Smells so good. So I am taking the orange paint from last week, and I'm adding some cinnamon, and I'm also going to add just a touch of my gingerbread paint mixture into there, and I'm going to mix it up really, really, really well. And then we will stir it into our pie crust.
The paint is dry, that beautiful metal is inserted in the doors, and the pie safe is in place at Chili's Gingerbread Bakery and Cafe. The pies are out of the oven, they are cooled and waiting to be served. Let's go over to Chili's and see if we can get a slice.
This is the humble beginnings of our beautiful pie safe. And here it is now. I love the green. It really turned out well. And how about the metal inserts? Oh my goodness. So beautiful. And the wrought iron Christmas tree handles. How lovely. Absolutely beautiful. And it's just the right height. That added molding at the bottom made it just perfect so Chili can reach every shelf. Speaking of shelves, there they are. Would you have ever thought those used to be drawers? You can't tell now. My brackets are holding those shelves up real secure. And the hand-painted shelf aprons. How pretty. Totally makes it coordinate with the cabinet and Chili's decor. And you can really see the pies in there. We need to get a closer look at those pies. There's that pumpkin pie. Ooh, looks so yummy. Even a decorative leaf crust. How fabulous. These recipes are all Grandma Frida's, Chili's great grandma. He hopes she'd be proud. Now let's take a look at that cranberry. And there's Frida's cranberry pie. Chili is so proud. So proud. Gingerbread crust. There's that apple pie as well. These adorable mini pies, as well as all the other miniatures that I've created for this cafe, are really meant to be ornaments, to be hung on your tree. As soon as we leave, Chili will be decorating for his Christmas open house. You are all invited. Your invitation will be sent via Instagram. Make sure you follow me and keep your eyes open. But I think we have time for one more piece of pie before we go. Make mine apple, please. Thanks again to Annie, Tammie, Shelly, and Monica for joining me on this Last Thing Thrifted. Make sure to check out their channels and the playlist. The links are in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your family, your friends, and anybody that just simply loves Christmas decor and teeny tiny little fun things. You can follow me on Instagram and check out my shop on Etsy. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. You can support my channel by subscribing, so please don't forget to subscribe. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.